So first I'm going to talk about what my visions for Damnation were. I definitely do feel like how Forsaken is now definitely does rival my vision, my previous vision for the game in many different ways. I, first of all, wanted this to be a horror game. That's what the original intention of this was. The entire reason I came up with the idea for the game was because I noticed that at the time, before Roblox horror asymmetrical games became so popular, the only games we really had were Pillar Chase 2 and then some of the old ones that nobody really played. I wanted to make an asymmetrical horror game that focused primarily on Roblox horror, because there are a lot of Roblox horror games that have iconic characters that I believe have left an impact on Roblox's horror genre, like Cool Killer, The Stalker, Bloody Mary, Lightbulb, if you guys remember that game Zeekerss made, The Glitch, that Zack Attack game. Characters like that, I feel really left an impact on Roblox's horror genre, and they just kind of were left in the shadows. So I wanted to make a game that shed some light onto them while also having my own fair share of original characters, and it was honestly really exciting. I had really not thought of adding any hackers or exploiters. I definitely did think of a few, but I feel as now that's like the general expectations for future characters, and that's kind of where I stray away from my vision there. As for the music, I wanted the music to have a much more dark and gloomy tone, which I definitely think it did a pretty good job at having during the early stages of the game. Because if you remember the lore of the game, I know that like the lore is not exactly public, but the lore is sort of resemblant to Dead by Daylight in terms of the trials, in quotations. Survivors and killers are eternally trapped in a game of life or death by the Spectre. And, you know, considering we, the player, know of their fate, we know that their lives are fairly miserable. Which is why I think the music should take a much more dark and scary approach, since being trapped in an inescapable realm where you're constantly evading death is pretty terrifying. So I would kind of want the music to capture that. I feel like the music is too upbeat, and it kind of focuses more on sounding catchy than it does scary. And I'm gonna get more into that later. The music identity would be a bit more consistent. I don't dislike the current in-game music, but I definitely think it captures a more intense and upbeat vibe, rather than a doom is upon you, you're being chased and about to die vibe. Like, I do think that some of the music is intense, but it's not intense in the fashion that it's scary, you know? And yeah, I definitely do wish that it was a bit more scary, because I don't know, I don't hate the music, I just, again, really wish it did a better job at capturing the horror tone, because right now it just doesn't really capture that at all, unfortunately. So